Okay. So I see two of y'all. So hopefully, I'm gonna go ahead and get started just with the two of us, right? Well, the three of us. So, I must apologize because I am late and I am so sorry, but I had some students. We started our exam period today. So I have some students that's taking their exams today, so that's why I'm so late. But you remember I told y'all last week, now we will all be in that seat where we got to say we sorry. So this is my chance. I'm in the seat and I'm telling you, I'm so sorry, y'all, because I am late and I have to tell God I'm sorry too. But so this morning I may have to do a part 2. I don't know, but I got to get back to my students because they're taking their exams. But so God wanted me to talk about, there's this I guess you could say a phrase that I use, right? And I told you all, I think on the first episode, I said we have to learn how to keep our ear to God's mouth. So God was telling me this morning that I need to be more, I guess I need to explain that a little more so that you can get a visual of what that looks like, right? Because you're looking at, he's not a physical being. He's spirit, right? So it's like, when I say that, first of all, let me read a scripture to you, right? So I'm gonna help you understand in a visual type of way why I say that and what God means by that, right? So the scripture I'm gonna read is from John 10:27. And John 10:27 says that my sheep hear my voice and I know them and they follow me, right? Okay, so God refers to his children as sheep, right? So let's just get that established. So you say, well, a sheep is an animal, but you have to think of the terms with God. So God uses analogies and he uses parables, right? So sheep is an animal. Realistically, it is an animal. But in the faith or in the Christian walk, God refers to us as his sheep. When I was reading about sheep have a natural way or an innate way of recognizing. They recognize the shepherd. So the shepherd is the one that tends to the sheep, right? So he feeds the sheep, he guides the sheep, he does all of that. He's the shepherd. But the sheep has a way, they have a natural inborn way of recognizing the voice of the shepherd, right? So they know who the shepherd is. It's like a baby knowing the mom's voice, right? And you think to yourself, a baby can't even talk, but they recognize the voice, right? So a baby can be in daycare, right? And if you walk in a room and they're with like the caretaker, if they hear your voice, they respond by turning because they know your voice. So it's the same way with the sheep. The sheep knows the shepherd. So any other voice that they hear, they won't follow that. Sheep don't know how to guide themselves, right? So the sheep basically needs the shepherd for everything. So the shepherd is the one that feeds the sheep. The shepherd guides the sheep as to where he wants the sheep to go, right? So that's the same way with us. We need God. We need his guidance. We need his protection. But the closer we get to God, right? It's like any type of relationship. Just like I just gave the example of the baby, the mom and the baby. With any type of relationship, right? You have to get to know the person. If you're in a natural relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend type thing, the more time you spend with that person, right? You know their voice. You know their character. You know things about them because you spend that time. So with God, when we spend more and more time with him, and it doesn't have to necessarily, of course, we learn the ways of God by reading the word, right? So he gives us the Bible so that we can read the word and we can learn of him. But you have to learn how to spend time with God. And time with God is just us communing with him, right? So when God created us, right? So let's say God created, we'll say Terrell, right? So we'll use Terrell as an example. God said he had a great idea, right? So one day he said, man, I have this awesome idea. I think I'm going to create a young man and his name is going to be Terrell, right? So when he had this idea, he had this great idea. He already knew the blueprint. He knew how he wanted Terrell to look. He knew what he wanted Terrell to do. He knew everything about Terrell, right? Because y'all remember in the first episode, I told you all that we all have a purpose. And that purpose is given to us from the Creator, which is God. So that's just like if you have an inventor, right? Like the microwave. Whoever invented the microwave, they had this idea about the microwave and what they wanted the microwave to do, right? So just say, for example, if the microwave could talk. Now we know the microwave can't talk, but let's just say hypothetically, if the microwave could talk and the microwave came and said, well, I don't want to heat up food. That's not what I want to do. I want to bake. The inventor or the creator might be upset about that because the inventor and the creator had an idea in mind of what it wanted the microwave to do, right? So with God, God has given us, even though he knows why he created each and every last one of us, he already knows the plan, but he still gave us what is called free will, right? So we get to decide because God said, okay, I'm a righteous God. I'm a fair God. And I want them to choose me. Just like in any natural relationship, right? If you're talking to someone or you dating like a guy dating a girl or a girl dating a guy, you don't want the relationship to be one-sided. Do you want to be in a relationship with somebody that they don't care nothing about you? They can care less about being with you. You want them to have the option. You don't want to force nobody to be with you if they don't want to be with you. So God says, I don't want to force you to be with me, even though I've chosen you. I love you from the depths. I love you and I always will. But he still gives us the choice to choose him, right? So when we choose him, we come into this relationship. So he starts to show us who he is. But we have to take part in that relationship too. We have to spend time with him. We talk to him. And sometimes we get, I'll say we get a little, I don't want to say confused, but I think we get a little bit, God says we get a little bit afraid because we can't physically see him. You know what I'm saying? So we're beings that we just want to be able to feel, touch. We want to be able to have that physical voice in our minds or in our ear. We want to be able to physically touch the person that we're talking to. But you can't let that discourage you because you can't physically see God. So you have to know that he is there, right? He's always there and he's always listening. And see, the awesome thing about God, and I have witnessed this, so it's not something that I'm just telling you, just trying to, shoot the breeze with you. But I have witnessed God. God is always, he's always present. He's always there. He's always listening. And he waits because he loves you so much. So he waits for you to come and talk to him about the simplest things, right? The simplest things. Sometimes I'm confused. This is the honest to God truth. Sometimes I'm confused as to what I want to wear. Something so simple as, God, what should I wear today? And he will say, or he'll show me an image of what I want to put or what he wants me to wear. And that is just so amazing to me. So the more and more you establish this relationship with him, you become closer with him. And so he becomes like a guide because God, it is not God's desire for us to be misled. He doesn't want us to be misled. God already knows the blueprint. But he's not going to force it on you. That's the thing. He doesn't want to force it on you. So he already knows the direction. God is like a navigational system, right? Back in the day, we used to have maps. They didn't have like navigational system because of technology. Technology has advanced. So we have so many things now to our advantage that we didn't have back in the day. So people back in the day had to use maps and stuff because they didn't know where they were going. So they used the map to find the place that they had to go, right? So we can look at God as like a navigational system. Technically, he has placed us on this earth because he is the creator. He didn't just place us here because he just didn't have anything to do. He had a purpose. He had a plan. So it's like, but we have to go to him. When we go to him and we surrender, that's the thing. We have to surrender our will to him, right? So we surrender to him. Even though when we hit earth, so we're on the planet earth, we naturally, because of our experiences, right? We naturally have our own desire. So I may have spent time with, let's say, a lot of people that are I'll say mortgage brokers, right? I just have a lot of friends that are mortgage brokers. So they've told me about the field. They've told me the advantages. They've told me like what they make. And I just think, oh my God, that is just so great. That's so awesome. I think I want to be a mortgage broker, right? So what happens is that doesn't necessarily mean that God created me to be a mortgage broker. But because I've had experience, I just automatically navigate to being a mortgage broker. So sometimes that's what happens in our lives because we haven't become tuned in to God and his voice. And then sometimes we just naturally feel that God is not listening because we don't see anything. But the thing is, sometimes we feel that way because we haven't gotten acquainted with his voice. So God is talking and he's speaking, but because we haven't established that relationship with him, it's hard for us to recognize the voice, right? So you have to spend time to recognize the voice. So that's why I say once you establish this relationship, right? And you are all in. And the thing is, some of us we only want a relationship with God because we want to kind of play him in a sense, which we can't. We can never play God. God always knows our motives. So some of us just want a relationship because we just want what we want. So we figure, okay, I'll get a relationship with God because I just want to go over here and I want like $15 million in the bank, or I want this. So we get into this relationship. So we think with God, and we're not totally in it to be in it. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like we're not just desiring to be with God. We're getting into a relationship for our own advantage. So it's just because we want something from him. So we just go ahead and say, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll get to know God. But God already knows the motive. He knows what your intent is. That's not going to work with God. When you come to God, you got to come to him wholeheartedly. He says, when you worship me, you worship me in spirit and in truth. So with that, because God is not going to be half committed to you. He commits himself every day, regardless of what you do. He commits himself. He's committed to loving you, right? So I don't believe, me personally, I don't believe that God desire us to go through certain things in life that we go through. Now, what I mean by that, sometimes we experience certain things. I'll use heartbreak. Sometimes we experience heartbreak, right? That we don't necessarily have to go through because God already knows. Because he knows everything, he already knows the intent and the motive of every person because he looks at the heart. So with his children, it hurts him when we go through things unnecessarily because we don't know him. And then because we don't know him, we don't know how to seek him. So we don't know how to go to him and ask him because we can't recognize his voice. And we're not recognizing the voice because we haven't spent enough time with him. So the more time you spend with him, the closer you get to him, he becomes familiar to you. Where and you don't have to worry about, sometimes we fear not knowing, right? But God is not a God. He never wants you to be in a position where you don't know him or know what he's doing or know what he's saying. So he's the type of God, like if he tells you, I want you to go tomorrow evening, I want you to travel to Jacksonville. So you thinking to yourself like, man, that's crazy. I just felt like something told me, because we good at saying something because we don't recognize the voice. So we'll say something just told me to go to Jacksonville. That's crazy. I don't even know anybody in Jacksonville. So you brush it off, right? So God already knows that. But see, now he's in the place of teaching you. So he'll come back again. And you'll hear the voice again. And it'll say, go to Jacksonville. So you're like, man, you talking to your friend. You like, I done heard it again. What's this thing about Jacksonville? So you brush it off again. So what God does, he'll send someone. So he may send somebody to say, hey, you know what? How about you want to route with me to Jacksonville tomorrow? So now you looking like, whoa, wait, hold up. What's going on? You have to pay attention to those things. It's not just a coincidence. So he'll keep coming Because he wants to condition you. He wants to train you because he loves you. So he'll keep coming back because he knows he's gotten your attention. Because at least you're thinking about it. You like, I feel like something told me to go Jacksonville. So now he knows he has your attention. So now that he has your attention, he'll keep coming back. He'll keep coming back. So it's just like, but God is patient with us too. So he's an awesome teacher. He's an awesome father. He's an awesome dad. So he just longs. He longs for us to come to him. He longs for us to ask him for direction and guidance because he knows the plan, right? He knows the plan. And so when I say about keeping your ear to God's mouth, that's what I mean. Like the closer you get to him, like the scripture says, my sheep know my voice. So you'll know his voice. And we're in a world that has so many voices, right? We even have a voice. We have a voice, right? Because we have some things that we want to do. So sometimes subconsciously, we just have a desire. Like I told you about the mortgage broker. I just may have a desire that I want to be a mortgage broker. But that's not what God is saying. So the closer I get to God, I learn to distinguish his voice. Where I can say, you know what? No, that's me. That's just me. I just want to be a mortgage broker. But that's not what God is saying. And it's awesome. Once you start to develop that relationship and you get closer to him, you will actually know. He'll teach you. He won't stop. He will teach you. And don't be afraid. Like I said, don't be afraid because you don't physically see God. Don't be afraid of that. Just know you have to trust that he's listening. He's always listening. And sometimes what God has done with me, and I know he'll do it. He probably have done it for some of you all too. I can think something. I don't even have to verbally say it. I tell y'all no lie. This actually happened. I was in this church one time, right? And so one day I was just feeling depressed. I was just down and I just felt like life was passing me by. And I hadn't really done anything. I haven't done anything to fulfill my dreams. So I was just, kind of down and depressed. And so I'm riding in my car. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm riding in my car, right? I'm thinking to myself. And I was like, man, I'm just so depressed. Like my life is just passing me by. I'm getting older. Nothing is happening for me, right? This is what I'm thinking. This was on a Saturday. I get to church on that Sunday. God is my witness. I get to church on that Sunday. I'm sitting in the congregation. The pastor comes out. He begins to kind of like give preliminary, whatever. He goes through, greeting the congregation, talking. And he stopped in mid-sentence. This is the honest God truth. He stopped in mid-sentence and he said, Andrea. So I look and I'm kind of scared. I'm nervous. I'm like, why is he calling me out in front of everybody? He was like, this is just what he said. He said, you have to stop worrying about your age. You got to stop worrying about that. You got to stop worrying about the time that has passed. At this point, I'm about to lose my mind because I know I have not had any conversation. All I thought, this was a thought to me. I was thinking to myself in the car the day before. But I say that to tell you this. God was showing me that he's always present. Even in my thoughts, he knows them. And he's concerned because he didn't have to answer. He didn't have to say that. But he had the pastor tell me that because he knew. He knew that I would believe that because I knew I hadn't shared it with nobody else. So how would this man know what I never spoke? I didn't tell anybody. And I promise you the next day, the pastor came to the forefront and he called me out and he said, you have to stop worrying about your age. You got to stop worrying about the time that has passed. And that was just so unbelievable to me. So I tell you that as a witness, I know he's always listening, y'all. But you gotta work on your relationship. God is going to do his part. He's always going to do his part. But he wants to know, he got to know that you in it for him, that you love him and not what he can give you. He'll bless you. He has no problem with that. God owns everything. So he has no problem with blessing you. But he don't want to. Who would want to? Would you want to feel like that? I wouldn't want to feel like that in a relationship. I wouldn't want to feel like I'm in this thing and somebody just with me because of what I can give them. That's not love. That's not love. And God doesn't want to feel like that. He wants you to love him because he loves you. The commitment will always be there. Even when we do stuff. And God was telling me this too. Sometimes we do things and we don't even apologize to God. We don't say I'm sorry. And I think that's because we don't physically see him, number one. And we can't imagine him being God because he's God. He's the creator. So God doesn't feel sad, but he does. He feels sad. Every emotion that you feel, he feels. Just like he has an awesome sense of humor. He loves to laugh. But if you don't get close to him, you won't know those things about him. But he wants you to know. He don't want to keep it from you. He wants to be, look, I'm telling you the truth. He wants to be your very best friend. He do. He wants you to run to him for everything. Everything he wants you to run to him. There's nothing you can't tell him. And guess what? The best thing about God, the best thing about God. Man, you can tell God man, look, it ain't like he don't know anyway. You can tell God some jacked up stuff that you done did. He already know. He know. But he wants you to confess it. You understand what I'm saying? He wants you to come to him. There's nothing you need to be embarrassed about. He already know. He know who you laying down with. He know. He know what you saying on the phone. He know who you talking to. He know what you about to do before you do it. He already know on Monday what you planning on doing on Saturday. He already know. He knows. I'm telling y'all, he knows. We can't hide nothing from him. But it's best if we go to him and we confess to him and we talk to him. He wants to help us get through things. He wants to help us resolve issues and problems. He loves that. He loves it. But he wants you to come to him. And I had this when I was young, right? When me and my my oldest brother. When me and my oldest brother, check this out. Me and my oldest brother, right? My dad, when we were younger, my dad loved boxing, right? It's like I hated boxing. But, you know, it was one of them things where daddy gonna control the TV. Point blank. I hated boxing. But my dad loved boxing, right? But now I'm so grateful that I actually, you know, in those moments that I actually watched. Because now I look back on that and it taught me so much, right? So check this out. In a boxing match, you got the two people, they boxing each other, right? So they in this arena. The arena is full of thousands of people, right? Right? So imagine, now the arena, it ain't like the people quiet. They not quiet. They making all kind of noise. They telling everybody, oh, you suck. Get out the ring. Oh, you loser. They going off, right? They going off. But you know what? It's amazing how the boxer, right? He always tunes in to the trainer. The trainer ain't in the ring with him. The trainer on the side. But he recognizes the trainer over all those voices, right? He looks for the trainer because the trainer is going to give him instructions. The trainer going to tell him what to do. He looks for that, even though the trainer not in the ring with him. He looks for it and he finds it. So he can hear the trainer voice telling him, throw the right. Don't do that. He listens. And he finds the trainer's voice out of all the noise, right? So that's how we can be with God. He's like our trainer. He's everything that we need. So we have to learn to recognize his voice out of all the noise. And that's why we keep our ear to his mouth. Because sometimes it's just the silent. God doesn't have to yell. That's the thing. The shepherd don't have to yell to the sheep. He don't have to yell. Because the sheep already know his voice. So the shepherd can be silent and the sheep still know his voice because they just gotten that type of relationship. He don't have to yell above all the noise. He can be silent in the quiet and the sheep will still know his voice. Isn't that something? And that's how God wants to be with us. Even though we can't physically see him, he's there and he speaks to us. And I'm gonna tell y'all a little love story, right? Because I know y'all didn't do y'all homework. I told y'all last week that we was gonna have homework, and y'all just want to come on here and don't want to do your homework. I know you didn't do it over the holiday. Now, some of y'all ain't gonna be held responsible because I know some of y'all didn't watch the video. But those that I know watched the video, you didn't do your homework. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give you this love story. Now, I'm gonna tell you this off rip. I'm telling you this off rip. God is my witness. Erykah Badu, she said she an artist. So that make her sensitive about her. I ain't gonna go there. But she's sensitive about her work, right? Me, I'm a private person. So that means I'm sensitive about my business. But I'm gonna tell y'all this love story. And I'm gonna threaten you right now. If it get out, you tell my business, it's gonna be some shaking in the city. Okay, it's gonna be some problems. That's a threat and a promise, baby. Because after I make the threat, I'm gonna come through with the promise. Okay, I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now. So you take that as you want to take it. I'm sensitive about my business, but for some reason, God want me to tell y'all this, because I think it's gonna blow your mind, but it's gonna show you how real he is. So back in the day, years ago, when I started dating, I thought I was grown, right? I started dating. I didn't want nothing to do with God. I was raised in a Christian home. So I had spent all my days with God. I just didn't want to, I wanted to do what I want to do. So now I'm grown. I'm thinking this is my first time dating. I'm getting out. I'm dating. I meet this guy. He's a nice guy. I mean, like, nice guy. The guy was even going to my friends. He going to my friends talking about, oh man, she just so nice. I just don't know how to approach her. I mean, he going to my friends. I had never experienced that before. Who does that? He going to my friends. So I say, man, this guy, he's really like kind of digging me, right? So I get to know guy, it's like, oh, he's nice or what? He's really nice. So eventually, we start dating, right? So he comes to me one day. He says, I gotta go out of town. He gotta go out of town. Okay, fine. So something told me, that's where we go with the something. Something told me, because I ain't walking with God no more. So I ain't even pretty much, I ain't listening, I ain't tuned in. Something told me, we'll call him Rick. Something told me Rick was back in town, right? And Rick hadn't said he was back in town. So I say, well, dang, that's kind of odd. Rick ain't back in town. So now, okay, don't judge me. I told y'all now, this taking a lot for y'all to tell me. I'm telling y'all, it's taking a lot for me to tell y'all my business. So I went ahead, because I was concerned. I rode by Rick's house, right? So I rode by Rick's house. It was dark. It was dark when I rode by Rick's house. I saw Rick's car. I saw a whole lot of other cars out there too at his complex. So I said, oh, okay, I see Rick back. So of course I got a little attitude, because I'm like, dang, Rick couldn't say he back in town. So I go ahead, I go home, because now I know he back, he safe, whatever, right? So I get back to my house. I shoot Rick a text, right? So I shoot Rick a text. I say, hey, I'm just checking on you to make sure everything okay. So then after I sent in the text, Rick say, oh, yeah, I'm back in town. Oh, hey, how you doing? Now he want to have a conversation. So I said, oh, okay. So now he done really told me back that he back, which I already knew because I saw the car. So about a week later, I decide that I need to go to the bank. It was on a Friday. So I go to the bank because I need to take some money out, right? So I go to the bank, and it's like in the evening time because time had changed. So it's like about 6 o'clock, but it's a little dark outside. So I go to the bank, and I'm going to the ATM machine. I go to the ATM machine. I saw this Jeep. It was a Jeep at the ATM machine. So I said, oh, okay. It was, I thought I recognized the Jeep, but I wasn't sure. So as I'm walking up to the ATM, it's this girl at the ATM. We're going to call her Tasha. So Tasha is at the ATM, and I recognize her because I went to school with Tasha. So I see Tasha, and she's like, oh, hey, Drea. And I say, oh, hey, Tasha, how you doing? So she was like, oh, I'm doing okay. Whatever. I'm getting my money. She getting her money, right? So I turned to walk away. Y'all, I lied to you not. This was like my first like real full-blown experience with God and how real he is. So I turned to walk back to my car. I hear the voice. I'm talking about clear as day. The voice told me. The voice say, go back and ask her. Now, the guy, Rick, I'm going to tell you this, because this adds to the story. Rick lived in this complex, right? We'll say the complex called Pelican Bay. So Rick lived in this complex called Pelican Bay. So as I'm going back to my car, the voice said, go and ask her. Well, no, it didn't say go ask her. It said, go tell her that you saw her at Pelican Bay. So I said, what? Tell her that I saw her at Pelican Bay. So in my head, I'm like, what the heck does that got to do with anything? But I followed the voice. So I go back and I say, hey, Tasha. She said, yeah. I said, man, the craziest thing. She said, what's that? I said, I saw you one night. She said, you saw me? I said, yeah. She said, where you saw me at? I said, I saw you at this complex called Pelican Bay. And she said, oh, yeah, girl. She said, yeah, I'll be out there sometimes, right? She laughed it off. So me not knowing no better, I was like, oh, okay. I don't really know why I'm even asking her this, but I heard the voice say, ask her, tell her that you saw her at Pelican Bay. So I did that. The girl say, yeah, I go out there sometimes. I turns around, y'all, to come back to the car. God is my witness. I'm going back to the car. The voice came back and the voice say, go back and ask her about Rick. I said, what? Are you serious? So I'm like, I got to be going crazy. Like, what is going on? But nevertheless, I go back. I'm being obedient. So I go back up to the ATM. So by this time, the girl looking at me like I'm crazy. So I go back out to the ATM machine and I say, hey, Tasha. She say, yeah. I say, tell me something. She say, yeah. I say, well, when I saw you, when you was in Pelican Bay, she said, yeah. I say, was you out there to see, somebody named Rick? Y'all, she looked like she had saw a ghost. She said, why you ask me that? I said, I couldn't tell. I ain't know why. You know, I couldn't say that because the girl don't think I'm crazy. So this is what I said. I say, cause I was wondering when you, when I saw you out there, I just was wondering, did you know this guy named Rick? She said, yeah. She said, you know what? She said, it's crazy. She said, yeah, I know Rick. Yeah, I go out there to see Rick. So imagine the look on my face. My heart is about to jump out my chest. Cause I said, oh, so you know Rick? She said, yeah. She said, yeah. I say, well, let me ask you this. I say, you and Rick seeing each other? She say, you know that little laugh ladies we give. She say, well, yeah, you can say that. I say, oh, so you and Rick seeing each other? She say, yeah. I say, let me ask you this. I say, how long you and Rick been seeing each other? She say, well, she say, honestly, it's been probably like a year. Now, mind y'all, I had been talking to Rick for about a year too. So now she done got clued in because I'm asking her so many questions. So she says, do you know Rick? I say, yeah, girl, I know him. She say, well, how you know him? I say, well, I thought I was seeing Rick too. Look, I thought I was seeing him too, girl. So she said, oh, you seeing Rick too? I say, well, I thought I was. I say, but apparently not. It looks like you seeing Rick. So from that moment on, right, she wanted to kind of do like, and I don't play these little games, ladies, don't play this little game, but she wanted to do that whole three-way, oh, let's get him on the phone and all this. She was like, well, girl, she said, oh, She said, girl, we need to get on the phone and we need to call him three-way. So this how I played her, because we still at the ATM machine. I say, girl, yeah. I say, girl, give me your number and I'm going to call you. I ain't never called her. I never called her. Never. Because my mind was so blown, y'all. My mind was so blown. I told y'all when I rode by his house, I just saw his car. It was other cars out there. I was clueless. God is my witness. When that happened to me, I realized how God loves me. I'm talking about the love. God don't want us to go through nothing hurtful, especially not unnecessarily. We will experience hurt in our life. We have to go through suffering because I told y'all before, there's growth in the suffering. But there are some things we don't have to go through. But God wants us to come to him. And I didn't have enough sense to go to God. I was trying to do it on my own, doing drive-bys. And God already knew the intent of this man. He knew that. So guess what? He loved me enough because even in my ignorance, I didn't go and ask God. I didn't ask him. I just said, oh, okay, dude trying to be slick. Oh, he back in town. He ain't said nothing. I had no idea he was seeing somebody else. That's why he hadn't said nothing. Ain't that something? That's why he hadn't said nothing. Because he was seeing somebody else. And I didn't even know. But you know what? God said, no, I don't want my baby going through that. I'm going to let her know. I'm going to let her know. And I had never experienced God on that level. So that's why I can tell you out my mouth. I'm a witness to it. God loves us so much. God will tell you whatever you need to know. You don't have to worry about nobody getting over on you. When you know God and you got a relationship, baby, he gonna tell you. If you keep that ear to his mouth, you better believe he gonna tell you. You can be in a conversation. I've been in conversations with people. And I've heard God tell me in my ear. Listen to me, y'all. He done told me in my ear while I'm having a conversation. Oh, they lying. Do you hear me? Straight up. He ain't sugarcoating it. He ain't sugarcoating it. He telling you straight up. They lying. Or he'll tell you, don't say nothing. Calm down. Calm down. Just let him talk. That's what he'll tell you. I'm telling you, God loves his children. He do, y'all. You got to get close to him. Because some stuff we experiencing, we ain't got the experience. I'm telling you. And a lot of time being wasted, y'all. If we just go to him. Some stuff we ain't got to go through. So I don't want to go through unnecessary stuff. That goes for men too. Single men. If you really, I'm talking about, you got to be serious though. Don't get out here playing with these women's hearts, man, when you know you don't mean them no good. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. Especially if they're a daughter of the king. You don't even want to go that route. You do not want to play with the daughters of the king. You don't want to play with them. Because I'm telling you, he overprotective of them. I'm telling you. But just like he overprotective of them, he overprotective of his sons too. He don't play the radio. So ladies, if you don't mean the man no good, just leave him alone. If you know you ain't looking to get married, you ain't trying to settle down, you still trying to hit it and quit it. I'm just saying, if you trying to hit it and quit it, just leave it alone till you get serious. That's it. Leave it alone. Because you can still go to him and say, hey, God, what you got for me? And he'll tell you what he got for you. He'll tell you. But you got to be serious, though. You got to be serious. And I'm going to tell y'all this one last thing. And then I'm going to have to get back into where my students at. I told y'all I got my students taking their exams today, so I got to try to go check on them. Y'all, listen, I wish I would have had this knowledge. I know y'all like Whitney Houston. I love some Whitney Houston. I did. And regardless of what people say about her, what they thought about her, she had a great legacy. She left a great legacy here. She did. She did. I loved her. I loved her. That one song she sung, Where Do Broken Hearts Go? Y'all remember that song? Where do broken hearts go? This a little bit of what Whitney say. See, Whitney told us about the children of the future. She told us that. But then she asked that question, where do broken hearts go? She said, where do broken hearts go? Can they find their way home? Back to the open arms of a love that's waiting there. That's what she said. At the time, I'm talking about, I don't think the song was out. I don't think maybe it was out. Or maybe I hadn't heard it. Because now, I find myself having an attitude with Whitney. I had to go and repent. Because I said, well, God, why I couldn't hear the song when I was going through my dilemma? Why Whitney couldn't tell me where the broken hearts go? She didn't tell me. She didn't tell me. She probably told y'all. She didn't tell me. But the song was there. And when I look at the song now, when I think about those lyrics, I believe. Now, Whitney ain't here to tell us. I believe Whitney was talking about the Lord. Because where else is a broken heart going to go? She said, where do broken hearts go? Can they find their way back home? She ain't talking about Dorothy. She ain't talking about Dorothy clicking her heels going back to Kansas. That's not who she talking about. She ain't talking about Dorothy. She said, can they find their way back home? She talking about to your daddy house. That's what she talking about. But I was so ignorant, I couldn't find my way back to his house. My heart just was broken. And I went through a heartbreak that I didn't have to go through that. I didn't. But I wish I could have heard Whitney in my ear. And she said, back to the open arms. Back to the open arms of a love that's waiting there. He waiting. That's what she talking about. The Lord, God, your daddy, your man. He waiting for you. You think God enjoy when you get your heart broke? You think that? He don't even like when his sons, and look how he built his sons. He done built them, I'm talking about, they tough like Ford. They built like Ford. They tough now. They tough. But they get their heart broke too. And you think he like that? He don't like that. He don't like that. That's his baby. Even though it's his son and they built like Ford. Tough like Ford. Do you hear me? He don't like that. So he hurt, y'all. He hurt just like we do. He hurt. He don't want his children going through stuff like that. He don't want nobody taking advantage of us. That makes him mad. He don't like that. Man, please. He don't like that. He don't like that at all. I'm telling you. You got to believe it now. And you better be careful what you go tell him. Because you go tell him somebody done hurt you. He gonna look for him. He gonna look for him. I'm telling you now. He gonna look for him. That's why I just go tell him. This person hurt my feelings. They did something to me. And he said, what they did, baby, what they did. I go tell him. That's why I follow the rules. You see what I'm saying? When Trump was in the chair and they came to Orlando and they shut these streets down, I didn't feel like going all on the outside skirt. I was upset. Do you hear me? I was upset because I say, who is Trump? Who is Trump to be shutting down the city? I got somewhere to go. So why I got to take a detour? Why I got to do that? But you know what my mind told me? I told myself, I said, you know what, Trump? I'm going to follow your rules. Not because you Trump. Now, I respect the position that you sit in because you're the president. So that's a position of authority. Do you understand me? So I said, you know what, Trump? I'm going to respect, not just because you sit in this chair, but I don't want my father. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want him to have no problems with you, Trump. I don't want him to have no problems with you. So I'm going to go ahead and follow the rules. That's what I'm going to do, Trump. That's what I'm going to do. Because if I don't and you do something to me, Trump, it's going to be a price to pay. He going to be hot. And I don't want that on my conscience. I don't want to release him. I don't. So I'm going to go ahead and follow your rules. And that's what I tell myself now. Let me go ahead and follow the rules. Because I know he crazy about me. He crazy for me. He crazy about me. Do you hear me? And he crazy about you too. So that's why you better be careful. You better be careful. I'm telling you now. Be careful. Because I don't want nobody to get injured. Do you hear me? I don't want nobody in ICU. I don't. Because I know he'll do it. I know he'll do it. So now I try to follow the rules. Because I don't want nobody to get out of line with me. And I don't want him to say something inappropriate. That's going to make him mad. And that's what I tell people. I don't want to make my daddy mad. That's why I'm going to follow your instructions. Because I don't want to make him mad. I don't. So I'm going to follow your instructions. I'm going to do what you tell me to do. That's the best thing. They say, hey, look, I got wisdom now. I got wisdom. So that's why I follow the rules. I do what I'm supposed to do. Because I don't want God to have no problems with nobody. I don't. And he can do the same thing. The same thing he do for me, he'll do for you. You just got to, I can't stress it enough. Love on him, y'all. Just get close to him. That's all. Just get close to him. Spend time with him. Talk to him. Even if you're riding in your car, just talk to him. Even if it's just the simplest thing. Like, God, what you want me to do today? When you free and you ain't got nothing to do, ask God what he want you to do. He might just want to go to the beach with you. He might want to go to the beach with you. He might just want it to be you and him. Just ask him. And every time you talk to him, that's the closer you get to him. That's the closer you get to him. That's all he want, y'all. He want to be able to give you. It's not like he not going to give you, but he wants you to want him. He going to give you those things that you want. The Bible says he don't withhold no good thing. He don't want to hold no good thing from us. He don't want to withhold that. Now, you can't go to God talking about you want to strip on the pole. I'm sorry. You can't. No. God don't want you showing your cooter. He don't want you showing your body. He don't want that. Now, somebody done got disappointed. But you can't go to God talking about you want to be a stripper. You cannot do that. You cannot strip for the kingdom. I'm sorry. I don't care male or female. You cannot strip for the kingdom. Not gonna work. Not gonna work. You cannot go to God talking about you want to strip. It's gonna be a denial. So I'm gonna stop you now before you even go to him. No. Diamond, shaking your money maker, not gonna happen. He not having it in the kingdom. He created you for more. Do you hear me? He created you for more. So no, you can't have that. So all that about, he gonna give me the desires of my heart. No, he not giving you that. I'm gonna stop you now before you go asking. No, you can't be no stripper. You can't. You cannot walk. You cannot walk all up. Look, in Tampa, they call it Nebraska. You can't walk down Nebraska. In Orlando, they call it OBT. You cannot walk down there. You cannot. Half dressed and naked. You can't. You can't. He not gonna be pleased. He's shutting it down. And if he got to shut down the street for his child, he will. He'll shut down the street. So I'm telling you now, before you even go to him, no, you can't do that. So keep your clothes on, okay? Keep your clothes on and tell God to pay your light bill. How about that? He'll pay it. He'll pay it. All that about this what you got to do. No, you ain't got to do that. You ain't doing that. You ain't doing that. He say he ain't doing that. He gonna pay your light bill. How about that? You ain't got to go to no man, and no man, you ain't got to go to no woman, talk about you need your bill paid, and you got to do certain things. No. That is not the desire of the Lord, okay? That's not what your daddy, look, and I hate to tell you, I told y'all I'm finna go. Your daddy owns everything. You know what I thought about the other day? I'm working for a job, right? I told y'all this, the job cannot afford me. But I got offended the more and more I thought about it. You know what I got offended of? Because my daddy owns this job, right? My daddy owns their bank account. And they telling me how much they gonna give me. How dare you? How dare you? You telling me what you gonna give me? That's my daddy money. But y'all ain't there. Y'all ain't there. I ain't gonna give you too much. Y'all ain't there. Y'all ain't there. Y'all ain't there. They gonna tell me how much they gonna pay me. And that's my daddy money? I dare. No, you won't. You're not gonna tell me that. Giving me minimum wage. And that's my daddy money. Hey, that's what y'all think about that. Y'all on these jobs and they telling you what they gonna give you with your daddy money. That's your daddy money. That's his money. So that's why I tell y'all, they can't afford y'all. They don't even know how to distribute the funds. They don't even know. They don't even know who's sitting, who working in their building. They don't even know. Because if they knew, guess what? They'll give you the blank check every 2 weeks. They'll give it to you. And they'll tell you, you write how much you supposed to get paid. about that, did you? Because that's your daddy money. I tell you, how about that? I tell you what my daddy say you gonna give me, because that's his money. I'm gonna stop. Because that's a whole nother part too that y'all ain't ready for. I'm gonna have to build y'all up. And I thought this wasn't gonna be an ouch episode. I thought God was gonna just be a little soft with y'all today. I didn't think he was gonna give y'all no shot. I didn't think that. But I guess he wanted to give you a shot today. Think about that. The next time you go to work, you think about that. They telling you every 2 weeks, this what you gonna get. And it ain't even enough. God still got to help you out, to help you with your rent. Because they ain't even giving you enough to pay your rent. That's why you want to go to God talk about, can you go and take off your clothes for a little change? You want to shake a little something for a little change. For a little change. Your daddy ain't going to let you do that. Your daddy rich. Hello? You ain't got to take off your clothes for nobody. Okay? But like I said now, follow the rules, because don't make your daddy, they don't want to make your daddy mad. Go ahead and follow them rules, because they ain't ready. Yeah, that made me a little mad when I thought about that. But I want to tell y'all, because I felt like God wanted me to tell you. Yeah, think about that the next time you on a job. So when your daddy tell you to leave off your job, don't you cry. Because they done took advantage of y'all this time anyway. They done abused you. And he just tired of you being abused. So he telling you to leave. And guess what? That's going to be their loss. Don't you dare think it's your loss. It's not your loss. That's going to be their loss. That's it. There. I wouldn't be surprised if they ain't call you back and say they want you to come back. That's why you do the very best you can on the job. You do your work unto God. That's what the Bible say. Not unto man. You do it unto God. You just go ahead and please your daddy, not the man. Not the man. Okay? Y'all do that for me. Yeah, that's it, Terrell. Strange things for a little change. That's what y'all want to do. Y'all want to resort to doing strange things for a little change. All you got to do is get in your daddy lap. Get in your daddy lap and tell your daddy what you want. Do you hear me? Get to know your daddy, because your daddy got everything. And he is crazy about his kids. You understand what I'm saying? Like any loving father. He crazy about his kids, and he is a protector. Okay? He is a protector. I'm telling you. But yeah, that's what I had to tell y'all today. I didn't think it was going to go this long. But God must wanted y'all to know some stuff. So y'all take that. And when I say keep your ear to his mouth, keep your ear to his mouth. God knows keep your ear to his mouth. Silence all the other voices. Only God knows what he wants for you. Only God is the truth. Man will come and lie in your ear every day if he can. And see, we can't see the heart of man. So that's how we get deceived a lot. And that's why we have to draw close to God. Because God will let us know. He will let us know who we labor among. Know those that labor among you. Thank you, God. He gonna show us. He gonna show us. Sometimes, look, I'm going to say this, I got to go. Sometimes the enemy in your house. And you don't even know. The enemy in your house and you don't even know. Because you ain't draw close to him. And you think that ain't hurting him? He see you every day going home. And you with the enemy. And you don't even know. You got to get with him, Lord. Get with him, y'all. Get with the Lord. Get with God. Get with him. Get with him. That's my message he wanted me to tell y'all today. Get with him. Love on him every chance you get. And if you do something wrong, don't be scared to say, I'm sorry, God. I'm sorry. For the little things. If you lose your patience in traffic, God, I'm sorry. I know that was wrong. I shouldn't have did that. Just say sorry. That's all. Just say sorry. And when you feel lost, talk to him. When you feel lonely, talk to him. He always there. He always there. So if I can't tell you nothing else, keep your ear to his mouth. And that's what that means when I say that. You keep your ear to God's mouth. And he'll never steer you wrong, because he want to be there for you. He's a loving Father, and he loves you more than you'll ever know. Okay? So y'all take that with y'all today and share it with someone. Share it with somebody. You tell them how special they are. You just never know what people are going through and what they need to hear. Sometimes people just need to hear, hey, how you doing? And they want you to sit there and listen. Yeah. So yeah, be a person of compassion. Be a person of integrity. Be a loving child from your Father, because he is love. Okay? And I love y'all, but I know who loves you more. Your daddy love you more. He can love you more than I ever can. But I love you. Okay? And y'all have a good day. Y'all get home safe. Y'all travel safe. If you at home, be alert and attentive. And as I always say now, we going to be obedient to God. We are. We going to be better. And we going to do better, because we know better, we do better. So now that y'all know better, y'all work on getting closer to God. And y'all can start that today. Just saying something to him. You can just say, God, I wanna get closer to you. That's it. He'll love that more than anything. Just say that. And then it'll start. You got to start somewhere. Why not start today? God, I want to get closer to you. And he going to say, okay, let's do this. So I love y'all. And I'm glad that y'all didn't shoot me. Y'all didn't try to hurt me, because I came on late. But I told you I had a little issue. So I'm hoping now. I don't know if I'm gonna be on next week, but it's all what the Lord say. I always tell y'all that. But I'm gonna leave this video up. So if y'all need to go back and watch it, it'll be there. Okay. And I thank y'all so much. I thank you for tuning in. I sure do. I do. It's a lot to get on here, and especially God has me revealing and telling personal stuff. That's hard, y'all, because I'm not used to doing that. But whatever God tells me to say, I will say it, because I realize that it's not about me, that my life is connected to all of you all. And if I can release it and share it and make you better, then that's all the better. It's all the better, y'all. Because my story is not my story. It was given to me. You understand what I'm saying? He could have chose anybody. So my story, my life is not my own. To him I belong. I give myself. That's a song. I give myself. I surrender, because the life is not mine. It's his. So the story is not mine. It's his. He just trusted me with it. You got that? So I have to share it. It's not just my personal business, even though I want it to be my personal business. But it's not just mine. God said any secret that I have, he can reveal it at any time. Because there are no secrets in the kingdom. Not when he exists. Because he can tell all your business if he want to. He can. But he's a loving Father. I don't think he'll do that. That's why he wants you to do it. He'll tell you what to share, and you just share it. So I hope I've helped someone. I hope you'll be a blessing to someone else, just like I have been a blessing. Hopefully I've been a blessing to you. So we are blessed to be blessings, right? Okay. So I love y'all. I do. I've said that 100 times. I love y'all, and I hope to see y'all next week. If not, then I'll write a little message on my page to let y'all know what's going on. Okay? I love y'all. Y'all be safe. Thank you. Bye-bye.